Okay, welcome back. We just printed a report. Let's go see where it went. And so there it is. I'm going to click on this guy, and it's going to look just like the thing before. I can do the show all button, and basically, so I could print this now, right? And it would show me absolutely everything I need to know about what's going on inside that particular domain controller. I'm sorry, the GPO for this. This is an excellent way to document the contents of a GPO. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the tips and best practices for GPOs in general. We've kind of sort of seen this before, but let's just go. So some of these are going to be repeats. All right. So basically leave the default domain controller and default domain policy things alone. Don't add any other. Now, I'm not saying you can't go in there and tweak like auditing or password string. I'm just saying don't add anything more. You could tweak things, but don't add, oh, I'm going to throw in screensaver. No, not on those guys. Leave those guys the heck alone. So basically, they're just for things like password policy or lockout policy or audit policy. Outside of that, go build another one and attach it where you want. They talk about reduce the linking of GPOs at the top. In other words, don't have too many things connected here. So in my world, the way we did it is, see, this is the domain controller guy. We didn't actually create it, created itself. And I have a thing called servers. So in my world, I actually drug that and drop it off into servers. So I had PCs and servers. Then underneath servers, I had the domain controllers. That's the way I did it. But I'm kind of thinking now that might spook a new person because they're used to seeing it like this. Okay. So I'm kind of wishy-washy on whether or not I would do that. My point being, right now there are 3 locations where you would have to link. So what if I had a GPO that was primarily a computer-based GPO? Instead of doing it local, up here at the domain level, I would have to do it in 3 locations. I'd link it here, here, and here. Okay, that's not terrible. Linking it in 3 locations, or in my case 2 locations, isn't terrible, right? That's not terrible at all. Organize your OU structure based upon the control requirements. So the reason why we have PCs and engineering and sales is because I want to treat the people in the engineering department different than the treating, the way I always think about it is think about installed software. Okay, that's the easy way to get your mind around it. Are they going to have the same software? No. Are they going to have the same settings? No. So therefore it ought to be in a different GPO. And again, I would leave now, okay, if I had to do it over again, I'd leave this guy alone. The domain controller's top level OU, I would leave that guy alone. Okay, so let the GPOs at the link do its inheritance thing. In other words, it's okay to drop this off at PCs or servers or, domain controllers and just let the inheritance do its thing, right? There's no need to put things at the top. Avoid blocking inheritance and policy enforcement. Now, these are powerful tools, but to tell you the truth, a junior SA person would probably look at it and go, I see there's a check mark there, but I have no idea what that means. And so just don't do it, okay? These are powerful tools, but it's hard to see, hard to document, and hard to understand. You have to have an awful lot of experience to be able to say, oh, I got it. I know why they're blocking this particular guy, blocking the inheritance of this particular guy. Ugh, weird. Okay, if you have one of these guys that you want to get rid of, maybe permanently or versus temporary, just get rid of the links, okay? So just go here and say, I just want to disable the links. Don't delete the guy. Don't go in here and disable the guy. Just get rid of the links, okay? So the system runs better when the links are just not there. Okay, that's how it works. Have descriptive GPO names, not GPO number 42, mean something. So the next thing we're going to talk about is disabling the unused portions of a particular GPO. So I've got this one. I'm just going to bring up the settings. And right now there's nothing in the user configuration one. Okay, there's nothing in there. So what I could do is disable that part. It looks like I do have something in the computer half, but not in the user half. So what I could do is to go down to here and go to GPO status and basically say, it's enabled, and then I could say the user configuration settings disabled. Now, this is a best practice because it just speeds things up. Okay? Basically, I've just told the machine, don't bother even looking at the user configuration because this guy doesn't have any. So telling it in advance that I don't have anything in this section will speed things up. Okay. So again, if it was only for user, you could display the computer ones. You know what I'm talking about, right? They talk about using small GPOs. Don't combine a bunch of things together. We talked about this before. You know, don't combine several things into one giant super duper settings GPO. No, go ahead and make them descriptive and just talk about which one they do. Use the WMI filters sparingly. Again, WMI filters are fantastic. However, they are difficult to understand and they slow things down. Basically, whenever someone gets offered, let's say it's a machine, because almost always WMI filtering is for the computer part, not the human. So I get offered a GPO. My machine says, hang on, let's see if it pertains to me. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't pertain to me. And it moves on. But it has to be offered to you, then you accept or reject it. That takes an awful lot of time. Basically, what it means is, if you have 100 machines, there's going to be 100 WMI queries happening every single time this guy is pushed on me. Okay, so that could be an awful lot of time. Okay, if you could, I mean, a good example of a WMI filter is only apply this particular setting if it's a 64-bit machine, you know, not a 32-bit machine. That's a good example of WMI. Okay, backing up GPOs. Let's do one. So I'm just going to go here to this guy, and I'm going to go in and say, back this guy up. And where do you want to put him? I don't know. I'm going to put it probably on my, I don't know. I just throw it on my documents. And then I'm just going to say, back this guy up. Boing. Cool. So now I have a backup of this guy. Let's go look at this guy. I'm going to go to my, whoops, I got it. I got tricked into clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, and so then I got this god-awful, because I didn't give it a descriptive name. And it's got a bunch of junk and, you know, a bunch of stuff in here and a GPO, and here's the machine portions, and, you know, I don't have any user portions because, hey, I just disabled that guy. And so, anyway, this is a good way of backing things up. You could do, but this is manual. I could go up to here and back up all. That's pretty doggone cool. And then you could just do them all, okay, all at once. But this is still manual. If you wanted to do this on a periodic basis, I don't know, once a week, once a month, you basically have to do a PowerShell thing. There is one called backup-GPO, and so you could automate this as a task. But right now, the thing we're talking about is just being able to back them up manually. Okay, number 12 on the list is avoid using the default containers. We talked about that. There really should be nothing in the default containers, okay? So I'm going to have to switch back to users and computers to be able to show that one, but that's beside the point. So here we are, users and computers. Come on. Okay, cool. So you remember how we have these built-in guys, this computers guy and these users guys, okay? There ought not be any human accounts in here, and ought not be anything in here. This is temporary parking spots. When you create an account, it's going to go there. And then afterwards, you're expected to move it into a real honest-to-God GPO. Okay? That's what they're talking about. Okay. And then let's talk about GPO settings in a highly secure environment. Okay? Here's a list of things. Remove access to the control panel. That would be a good one. Yeah. It's one of those things that you might think that's kind of draconian to do that, but maybe not. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but it's a computer configuration, administrative templates in the control panel. Okay, we go there. Then there's one called LAN Manager Hash. Now, most likely you don't have any LAN Manager stuff, but let's say, for example, Bob in a cube next to you say, hey, I want to send you a bunch of stuff, but it's too big. I'm just going to put a share on my computer temporarily, and you can connect to it. So the machine would attempt to cache up your credentials during that, so you don't have to be prompted, and so that's pretty bad. And so the old style LAN Manager cache, Again, it's all in the lecture notes. I'm not going to go through it, but it's all here if you ever want to look at this stuff. Reduce access to the command prompt. Basically, I'm sorry, you just can't have the command prompt. Okay? Forced restarts. You know how when you do an update and it comes up and says, hey man, you want to do an update? You want to restart your machine now? I would say no. I'm sorry. So no auto restart with logged on users for scheduled automatic update installations. So basically you have to just wait. Getting rid of all removable media. That's an excellent one. Software installation, basically say prohibit the user from doing any installs. Yep. Disable the guest account. Our guest account's already disabled, but that's not the point. If I go to here and go to users, see how they have a little down arrow? It's kind of hard to see. But if I bring this guy up and bring up properties, it basically says that this thing is disabled. Anyway, the idea is that this is an account that you probably is already disabled, but you could do it with GPO to make sure that other people on their PCs don't accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, maybe on purpose, enable the guest account. Set the minimum password length, again, and the maximum password age. Remember, for example, 42 days is the default. Remember this guy? If we go up here to the default domain controller guy, okay, this guy, and look at him. I guess go to settings, daggone it, and show all, and I have to scroll down and find this guy. But so it's 42 days, and that sounds a little weird to me. I mean, I think that's a little low. If you have good password length, minimum password length is 7 out of the box. Man, I would make that 12 if it were me, and I would make this 90 days at the minimum. Okay, probably 180 days for real. Okay, so yeah, these settings out of the box. Ooh. Disable this thing called anonymous SID enumeration. Don't worry about what that means. It basically means, can a user figure out what account this is or what machine this is based upon a security identifier? Okay. Rename the administrator account. We're talking about the local thing that's called administrator. That guy. Every machine has something called administrator. And just to keep your users from trying to pound away at an account they know is a privileged account, just rename it. Rename it to, Bob Smith. And they'll never know that that's the administrator account. You'll know, but no one else would. And then, of course, you could rename the guest account, but if you're going to disable it, I'm not sure what the purpose for that would be. And then I want to show you how the Department of Defense does their thing. The DoD maintains a group policy, a cyber exchange, and is open to the public. And down here is a zip file that contains all of their recommended things. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this guy up, and I'm going to open this guy up. And basically, it has the templates plus all the backups. These are backups of all these things, so you could just pull them in, or you could do a report to look at them and see what's in them. This is an excellent source of information. Like how to set up a firewall, and how to set up servers, and how to do all the good stuff. All right, cool stuff. Okay, so that's the end of this section, and practically the end of all the videos. I got just one or two more talking about the final exam, but I'll see you guys in the next video.